If you had to choose, would you rather stand out or blend in? If we're being honest, most of us want to be both of these things at the same time. We want to know that we're unique. We want to stand out in some ways. We want to make sure that our lives matter, they mean something, that we're noticed. But we also want to blend in. No matter how loud or weird or countercultural you want to be at times, you want to know that you're accepted and that you have a place where you belong. So how do we balance these things? Last week, we started looking at John chapter 1, and we saw that Jesus was a unique being. When we continue on in John chapter 1, we're introduced to another character. This is a person named John. It's not the John who's attributed to writing the gospel. He's actually Jesus' cousin. We usually call him John the Baptist. He's about 6 months older than Jesus, so they probably grew up together. And he was a pretty unique person. You know, like living off the land, eating bugs, that kind of weird. He had a unique mission as well, though. He was the messenger sent to prepare the people for Jesus' arrival. And we pick up in his story in John chapter 1, starting in verse 19. And it says, "And this is the testimony of John when the Jews sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, 'Who are you?' And he confessed and did not deny, but confessed, 'I am not the Christ.' And they asked him, 'What then? Are you Elijah?' And he said, 'I am not.' 'Are you the prophet?' And he answered, 'No.' So they said to him, 'Who are you? We need to give an answer to those who sent us. What do you say about yourself?' He said, 'I am the voice of one crying out in the wilderness, make straight the way of the Lord,' as the prophet Isaiah said." One of the first things we see about John is that he knew exactly who he wasn't. He didn't claim to be someone he wasn't. And a lot of us feel pressured to make ourselves fit in, to be accepted by other people in ways that really change who we are. And we have this pressure to try to be more successful, to present ourselves as having it all together. We present these curated versions of ourselves online and social media and even in our friend group, maybe at school. And John was a unique person, but he also was very clear about who he wasn't. And he wasn't the Christ. He wasn't Jesus. But he did know who he was. He knew how he fit into God's plan. Now, this doesn't mean that John knew every detail of what God had in store for him or what the future held. In fact, later on in his life, he questions a little bit and he asks Jesus, like, "Hey, are you actually the one I'm supposed to be waiting for, who I'm supposed to be preparing the way for?" So he didn't know all the details, but he did understand the big picture and what God's plan was. The journey to finding who God created you to be, it's not an easy one. In fact, it's a lifelong process. You have to start by discovering who you're not. And then you learn who you are. And then you need to see how you fit into God's plan. And this won't be easy for you, especially if you're young. This will be constantly changing because you are changing. But that's okay. You need to learn to thank God for your uniqueness, your physical uniqueness, your character qualities that are unique, your skills and your experiences, because God created you to be distinct.